This is the Multiboard Demo Pack, a free pack that shows you the flexibility and sorcery of multiboard with the least amount of parts possible. In case you don't know what multiboard is, it's a ridiculously modular building system, letting you create anything from storage walls, bin systems, to any project you can think of. Multiboard already has over 2.7 million total downloads and tens of thousands of active community members who are using multiboard pretty much everywhere. Now, one of the great things is that all the individual parts are free. Yes, there are a few paid resources for those who want a little extra convenience, like pre-made packs, custom part generators, and overall just quality of life extras. So, with that all covered, let's jump into the demo pack. So below, you'll find a link to download all of these parts for free with one click. Also down there, you're going to find the printing guidelines. So let's take this nice and slow and steady so you get to really understand everything that's going on. We're going to start this off with the tiles right here, as well as these parts right here and this tool right here. So these parts are folded parts, and they are folded because that's how they're going to be made to be extra strong. And before we get building, I just want to let you know what we're doing here is a freestanding tile setup. There are many ways of mounting a multi-board tile or a plate. As you can see behind me, I've got them up on the wall. You can build 3D structures out of them. Honestly, the sky's the limit. So for now, let's just do a freestanding setup. So what we're going to do is get these folded parts. We're going to fold it like this. We're going to grab one of these triangular ones. I'm going to use this side. This is going to be my inside. And then I'm going to grab this. I'm going to put that in here. Now, the trick for getting these threads in is that if you're struggling to get it started, you're going to go backwards till you feel a little bit of a jump down, and then that's the entry point for this thread. So you're going to tighten that up. It's going to go to about this far, which is about 45 degrees. Then you're going to use this tool with that little hole there, and you're just going to give that the last little tightening of the 45 degree so that that arrow on the back there, you'll just about see it, is pointing upwards. So now we're going to do that for all of the other ones along with the other triangle one as well. I'm going to go at a steady pace here just so that you can keep up with me. So I'm going to do those two right there. And then I'm going to go and grab this one here. We'll get another one of the folded ones. We'll fold it in half. And then I'm going to tighten that up right there. Give it a good tighten. Then I'm going to go here and tighten that up so it's pointing upwards. You don't have to go absolutely crazy with the tightening here. Just be aware of that. And then I'm going to tighten this one up down here as well. Now with these two sides set up, we're going to click these into place. So this is going to go either side of this tile. You'll see that the tiles have these little click points connections on the side. We're going to just basically go here. We're going to press. It's going to click one in. We're going to press, and it's going to click the other one in, both into place like so. We'll do the same to the other side. So go there, give that a click, give that a click. There we go. And that is now our freestanding setup all set up. Now these tiles are packed full of functionality. The first one being is that they can snap things in. So we've got these two parts right here. These are snaps. There is a snap that doesn't have any arrow on it. This is a standard snap. And I'm just going to click this up here. You literally just go and give it a push in. And that's going to now be nice and flush to the surface. And that's a normal standard snap. Now you're going to see that there's other snaps like this one right here that has a little arrow on it. Just want to make sure that you can see that arrow. There you go. This is a moderate weight bearing directional snap. That's going to point upwards. I'm going to put this into place. To put this into place, you go where that arrow is, you're going to angle it in, and then you're going to just push down from the bottom, and that will snap into place like so. Okay, that's some snaps. Now, all of these holes are also threaded. So we've got 3 different types of bolts here, a large, mid, and a small one. As you imagine, these large ones, they're just going to be able to go into some of these large holes like so. You can also get a mid-thread, and this one's going to go into a mid-thread hole, like this snap right here. So go there, make sure I'm giving you guys a good view. I'm I'm going to try and do this left-handed. That's always going to end up funny for me. And there we go. We'll have that in there. And then we're going to do this small thread. Again, it's a folded piece. This is a multi-point. We'll get more into them. Don't worry about it. And I'm just going to put this down into this small hole down here. So I'm going to go 2 up from there, 1 in, and I'm just going to thread that in. Now, if you're struggling to thread that in, you can use yourself a coin of some sort to just go to here and tighten that up. Now, you don't need to go crazy tight with these. They're made to snug up, not super tighten. Okay, now that we've covered that right there, let's also talk about all these smaller holes that are everywhere, because they are a very specific distancing, which is they are 25 millimeters apart. In fact, the magic number of multiboard is 25. The centers of everything is 25 millimeters. The division of everything is 25 divided by 2 or 3 or 4. Everything is pretty much around the number 25. Now, that means that all these small holes have that distancing of 25, which is what a standard pegboard has. There are many different standards of pegboard, but this one specifically is a 25 millimeter one. That means you can use standard pegboard accessories, or you can 3D print some. And this here is a peg click. So you're going to just put that in there like that. We will pivot that down, and then you give it a good push, and that's going to click into place. To take it out, it's the same motion. You're just going to grab the bottom and give it a good tug upwards, and that's going to pull it back out. So that there is a peg click right in place like so. Now, we're talking with 3D printing, which means we get to do some fun stuff. One of the fun things we get to do is a bolt locking. I like to look at bolt locking as a way of increasing functionality to things that you already have. So we have this hooked weight-bearing, not hooked, just a moderate weight-bearing snap here, the one with the little arrow up top. We have this bolt lock hook. So this means it can get bolt locked. What on earth is bolt locking? Well, we have this locking bolt that is going to let us thread into there. In between there, we're going to put a snap. We can choose whichever snap we want, because there's many different types of snaps out there. There's other types of connections as well. But for now, we're just going to put this one on there. Make sure that the small arrow is pointing upwards. And then I'm going to get this locking bolt, and I'm just going to put that there and give that a little tighten from the top. So again, just going to tighten that up. There it is. You can get yourself a coin to save your fingers a little bit here, or if you get big chunky fingers like mine, it makes it a little bit easier as well. And it's just the same as with the snap. We're going to go here, and now I'm going to be able to snap this into place like so. And that's going to be able to take some weight, because this is a moderate weight-bearing snap. Okay, same concept, but with a shelf now. So over here, we're going to grab this bolt lockable shelf, and we've got these 2 locking bolts, these 2 snaps, and again, with the arrow pointing upwards, I'm going to put that here. I'm going to get a locking bolt, and I'm going to bolt lock that into place. And there we go. That's this one started and going. Let's do the same to the other side. Again, making sure that arrow is pointing upwards. I'm going to put that in place right there. Get myself the locking bolt. Locking bolt. And we're going to just bolt lock that into place. So with that there, we're going to go and put that into place. Now you're going to see there's a whole bunch of other connections down here. They're all there to basically give you extra support with bigger shelves. There's also other ways of making shelves that make them much, much more weight-bearing. For instance, this one right here that you're seeing, yes, that is 20 plus kilo weight. I think it's 23 kilos that I've just put onto that shelf. So yeah, you can put a lot of weight on these things. So here it is. We're going to go and put this in. As you imagine, you're just going to angle it like so, and then I'm going to push and tilt. So I'm doing this type of motion to get it into place. So I'm just doing that, and then it's going to snap into place, and that's going to be able to take a decent amount of weight. All right, let's go and talk about these right here. These are bin shells. You can think of them as the connections for the bin system of Multiboard. They're covered in connections all over the place. Now, what exactly do these connections do? Well, for instance, this one on the bottom, this one here, that would let you connect a bin shell this way. Now we would need a little bit of a longer one for this point here, because if you put it on this way and we didn't have this here and this here, this would just sort of rock. So we need a longer one of that, and that's what a rail is. This here is a rail, which is basically just a longer multi-point. And this rail here, I'm going to use the hooked end going upwards. I'm going to put that into there, click it into place, and now that side bit, I'm just going to be able to slide that on like so. Now, with that exact same methodology, we can also use this right here, a bin-to-bin connector, which will let us click that into place. We'll get another bin shell here. We'll slide that into place. Now, as I slide this into place, just be aware that sometimes you need to also push this down here to let those click together. There are other ways of clicking these bins together, but that's one of the simplest ways possible. And there it is, connected together. I want to pull this apart and let's talk about some other things about these. First, let's talk about a drawer. This is a simple drawer. And I also have this here, which is a drawer stopper, because of course, we have the multi-pointer there. We can hook this onto a tile and then this will go in, but we don't want this to just slide back out. Imagine you have this filled with stuff. You want this to get stopped. So we're going to get the drawer stopper here. There's a bar. It is this way around. We're going to put one up into that top corner up there. There it is. There, that little corner there. And then I'm trying to make it visible for you, but that means it's not visible for me. And then I'm going to go and put that to that other edge there. And I'm just going to push it up and it's going to click into place. So it goes into the two little holes that are up there, like there and there. Now to get the drawer in, you're going to go in. These are the stopping bumps of it. We're going to angle it so it passes the stop. We're going to push a little bit from the bottom here just to get it over the lip. And then you're just going to push that back down and it'll slide straight into place. We can now just multi-point this onto our tile like so. There it is. And that is now in place. Okay, now let's talk about some inserts. Here it is. This is an insert right here. This is an insert bin, a bin insert. And this one has a curved bottom to make things easier to take out. So for instance, I can get the tool, put it in, and it will just slide up this way. Now you just insert this into bin shells so you can have these bin shells up anywhere, can take things out from them, but it also means that you can change the functionality of these really quickly and easily by using tops. This is a label that just happens to be a top. You can write whatever it is that you're wanting on that label. Here it is, just mainly to show you, and you can click these tops into these two little points up here. So we're just going to click that into position. It will click into place, click into there. Now these tops could honestly be anything. There are many, 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 many different types of them, and they're quite easy to do anything you want with. So we have that in there. We can now go and just slide that in place. I'll put that into there, and there we have it. That is the demo pack now all built up for you to play around with. With the demo pack now built, you already know a large chunk of multiboard, and as you explore, you're going to see that there are many, many more parts. Just remember, you really don't need to learn everything. Keep it simple. In most situations, you're only going to be using the core parts, which we've already covered most of the concepts in this pack right here. Many of the other parts are just for experience makers taking their builds to the next level. And like I said, all of the individual parts are free, or at least they'll become free after their beta testing / early access phase, which is usually around 3 months, which is actually one of the few paid perks, along with a few other resources like the pre-made packs and custom part generators. So if you want to take it to the next level, consider becoming a member, because it's thanks to your support that this amazing project is even possible. So now what from here? Well, truly, the world is your playground. Personally, I would suggest you head on over to the Get Started page. It's linked down below. There, you're going to find all of the core resources from the parts library, the knowledge hub, and anything else you need to get started in a different area or just dig a little deeper. I truly cannot wait to see what you're going to get building with Multiboard. Thank you so much for watching, and keep making.